Good morning. Okay, having a lot of technical difficulties today, so bear with me. So Karen Wright, your local Wichita real estate agent, and today wanted to talk about, we've got the December statistics out today, so I want to go over that for Wichita. Like to go over typically the full MLS. I want to also start with the Kansas statistics. We got some of those. I believe that's for November is the most recent information I have at this time, so it's just your weekly market update. I was aiming to do this yesterday, but with the holiday and just other stuff, got pushed back a day. But got a lot of information to share today, and so let's just kind of get to it. So we'll start with the housing market, and hopefully you can see this on your screen. Total sales last month were the lowest November number since 2015. So that just shows you how we just have a shortage of supply right now. And of course, this had a lot to do with, let me go back and just check to make sure. Oh, sorry. Okay, here we go. There we go. Still figuring out the technology. So I believe we are up on, okay, so total sales last month were the lowest. Here we go, November since 2015. This just kind of goes along the same lines as we have low listings right now. We still do. We're getting more though. And as we'll see in the December statistics here in a little bit for Wichita MLS, again, this is the Kansas one I'm starting out with, and November is the earliest we have on this one, or the latest, I should say, we have. Prices have continued to rise, however, because of the inventory of homes available for sale, it remains incredibly tight. And so we are still seeing that. We're seeing it trickle up as well. I mean, obviously the last couple months with the inflation kicking up, with the interest rates kicking up, which of course we're seeing a change in that right now. We'll talk more about that as well. So November 2022 market highlights. Home sales in Kansas fell 34% in November compared to the same period last year. National sales fell 34% over 2021. And then Wichita, we'll get into that shortly. Home prices continue to increase across the state. We are seeing that here as well. The statewide average sale price in November was $293,000. I tend to look at median sales price, not the average. It's a better reflection. So we'll get into those numbers. For us, it's in like a little above 200. I will say the median though for the national average is 385,000. So even in Kansas, as you can see for November, is 293. Just to give you a comparison, you've got Kansas, the national is 385, and then Wichita is a little over 200. Although I'm listing again the median sales price. U.S. prices rose 3.9%. U.S. rose 3.5%. Mortgage rates increased. Okay, kind of disregard this last sentence because that's not true as of right now, even though this came out January 6th. And today is January 17th. So disregard that because everything I'm seeing is mortgage rates are decreasing as of the 17th. And then I want to click onto this Freddie Mac's. Where are we here? It should be down here. We'll talk, well, let's go up here first. Here's a better reflection from Freddie Mac website page. Mortgages are declining while and again, this came out January 12th, so only so many days ago. While mortgage rates have resumed their decline, the market remains hypersensitive to rate movements, with purchase demand experiencing large swings relative to small changes in rates. Over the last few weeks, latent demand has been on display with buyers jumping in and out of the market as rates move. And so this is what I wanted to show you. So yeah, and buyers are still kind of sitting on the sidelines. Plus it's December or January, it's a slower time in the real estate world anyway. And, buyers definitely sat out November, December as they were waiting to see what's happening except for those that had to buy or just didn't care, or cash buyers. So I expect March to kind of see a picking up of that. But let's check out this current mortgage rates data since 1971. This is kind of cool. And I'm going to scroll through it quickly because that's the way to go back to the 18%. So look at here. This is the U.S. on the very far left side. So we're looking at 6% rates right now. It goes back 1.5, 12.29. So this is kind of where we're seeing 6. And of course, in beginning of November, we saw it was in the 7%. End of October was 7%. But as you can see now, it's starting to decline as we move into January. So I'm going to scroll quickly up and just kind of keep on to that. So we're in the 3s, the 4s, 3s, the 4s, 6s, 7s, 8s. This goes back to this 91. So we're looking at 8. We're in the 10s and 87. We're in the 12s in 1985, 16s and 17s in 1982. 15s and 14s for, again, we're talking interest rates. So if you're buying a house back in 79, you had 11 and 12% interest rates. And then it goes back to 8s and 7s. But and then 71 looks like it's the very beginning of when they started tracking it. But I thought that was really cool just to kind of show you these numbers here, the 13s, the 14s, 15s, interest rates back then. So when we say the 2s and 3s, that was kind of once in a lifetime. So we're almost basically there's the 3s and the 4s. There's the 2s. It's just amazing. So when you see these numbers in retrospect, hey, not bad. Anyway, I thought that was cool. Once I saw it, I just wanted to share that. And okay, I think let's getting into here, we can check this out here. Weekly averages of January 12th, 30 years, 6.33%, 15 years, 5.2%. They're just talking overall interest rates. So here's a little chart. Okay, now let's get into the local information. That just kind of gives you a high level, like Kansas, a little interest rate discussion. And here is December 2022 MLS statistics. And I do the entire MLS. And here, look, let me click on this other tab. This is the Sedgwick County. So I might click over there at times just to kind of see. But let's go into this next one. So let me get this up. So this is just the quick recap, and then we'll look at some charts because that's a little easier to see visually. Total home sales fell last month to 683 units. It's from 991 the previous year. That's a lot. 600, about 700 versus 1,000, so 300. So it was really down. We're down in sales volume. Here, 164 million. We'll again look here shortly. Median sale price, and this is the number you want to see, it was 207,000. And what Kansas was showing 285, I think, just a little bit ago when we were looking at that. Let's go check it out quickly. 293 was what November from a statewide average sale price. And of course, I'm looking at median here. So 2.7, it's up from 190. Again, just shows the great appreciation. But I'm going to go down to, it's a little easier to see here. So 683 home sales are down from 991. Of course, with that, we can really kind of look at inflation. Interest rates were, creeped up to that 7. So buyers really just look at that's down 31%. Active listings, here's a great news, though, that we're seeing. Last year, it's at 730. Now we're at over 1,000. An increase of 42%. That is great to see, especially as we're going to start coming into the spring season in a couple months. And with the stabilizing of interest rates, more on the decline back down to 6s or closer to 6s. Month supply, we've got 1.2 month supply. This is just great to see. Now, new listings from prior year, that's down a lot, actually, but that might attributed to the interest rates and what was going on. Buyers were sitting on the sidelines, so sellers, it's probably a good idea to hold on a minute. Although buyers right now are being able to ask for some things, although I think that's going to change once the season kicks back in. Contracts written, this just kind of shows for future. It's down a little bit, 23%. But here, let's go down to the median sales price. Check this out. So last year was 190,000. And we are up 9% at 207,000. Again, this is the whole MLS. You'll see a difference. I'm going to click over here to show Sedgwick County, which is the biggest county. Let's click over there. You'll see a difference here, 205 to 222. where the entire MLS, because we start getting to the smaller counties around here, you're seeing a little bit lower, 190 to 207. Days on market have definitely, houses have taken longer. We're at 9 days on market. Again, I saw that very clearly. Again, interest rate increase, the buyers just wanted to see, hey, where's it going to settle at? And like I said, and now luckily in January 17th, we've settled down some. And percentage of list prices, things are still selling at list price. This is really just due to the lack of inventory. Just have more buyers than we do listings. So here, let's just kind of go through this. This is what has closed already. So these are actual figures that have closed. We kind of talked about this. This is kind of look to the right. It's creeping downward, as we know. Where I used to see pretty stable sales through the end of December, this year I did not see that. I mean, it just took a straight shot and dive. And I think one of these charts up here shows it. Yeah, this next one here. This blue chart, as I showed you last time, but now we have this number, 683. This is just kind of showing a huge dive where I'm telling everybody, oh yeah, no. It goes pretty steady till the end of the year. So you look at 2020, kind of up and down a little bit, but then, 2021 green, like that's how, as a real estate agent, I feel it does drop here when you look at the beginning of the year. It's so cold. It seems to be, I'm always showing vacant houses at that time, like investment houses. So for them, it's still a good time to buy, but yeah, it's kind of sharp. And then of course, as you can see, March, it kicks off the season. But yeah, I'm always comfortable with letting my sellers and buyers know, no, it stays steady till the end of the year, except for this particular year. And again, as we talked, interest rates, I just stop people. So, and then looking over here, you see these are closed, what closed, 900, down from the previous year. And then October was down. And then December was down by a good deal. And it makes sense since we saw the interest rates increasing. Here's this fun chart I was looking at. And this is all just closed stuff where the price points are. Obviously, we can see like 200s are pretty large to 400. Kind of the bulk right in here for Wichita, and the entire MLS. We got one that closed over $1 million. 11 that closed from 750 to $1 million. Days on market. Oh, interesting. The $1 million and one that sold had 0 days on market. So that sold right away. You never know. Usually if those are in like perfect condition, they actually do kind of go quickly. So entire MLS, let's go to the median price. So this is always kind of fun. We got 2021 and 2022. And as you can see, the numbers went down a little bit. 19 was pretty high, 219, we got 220 in there. But as you can see, after April, we hit over the 200s and stayed there with all the appreciation. Even as the market got a little softer in November, December, we still stayed over 200. 201,000, 207,000 is where we ended the year. And I got to figure out the average. I'm kind of curious to see where the average landed up. So over here, let's see, we got the blue is the current year. As you can see, pricing just kept going up from 2020, red, green, 2021, and blue. It just appreciation. So if you, and I'm about to list another house, and she bought the house 2 years ago, and it's just crazy when you're looking at those appreciation numbers. I mean, typically real estate's a buy and hold to gain the equity, but boy, if you bought the last couple of years, you're in good shape. So let's go to the days on the market. This just shows how quickly things sell. A little bit longer in the beginning of the year, but just again, this doesn't surprise me, this 9 versus last year at 6. November held fairly interesting enough because it seemed like it was still a lot slower to me, but as this 9 makes sense to me. Things just took a lot longer. Listings were sitting on the market a lot longer, so it made it great for buyers, November and December, although especially December, because it was really, sellers like, oh no, what's going on? It was multiple offers over asking all summer long and up through October, and then just a little halt happened. So in the blue line over here on the left is 2022. So again, just at the very end. It took a bit longer. Although it's interesting to look at 2020, all that took a little bit longer as well. So here is the active listings. So this is great news. Look at this. We're up 732. We're up to over 1,000. Thank goodness. Just makes it easier for buyers and sellers. Even sellers, even though they're getting the great profit, if they want to turn around and buy, it needs to be somewhat easier for them. So it's great news for everybody. So hopefully that keeps going up and up. Here, let's go down to the list price for this is I want to keep the title in. This is for active listings. So active listings currently right now that are active, and as of the end of December, there was 1,043 active. I think the last time I pulled, I think it was under 1,000 in the 900s. But this is the very end of December, the statistics. The active listings were 219 a year ago and 280. Check that out. So a year ago, on the entire MLS, the active listings listing price was 219. Let's call it 220, and now it's whopping 280. Jumped up huge just with the appreciation. And then the history of active listings, as we've talked about, has just gone down, down, down. It's peaking up a little bit here in 2022, or the end of the year, although it came down actually at this very end. Active listings, it's just going, let's look at this month by month. So here, as we know, this is what was causing all the multiple offers here, 2022, the 600, there's only 700. Here we have only 800 houses that were actively on the market being sold. So July, finally, we're getting over the 1,000, August, September. And then, of course, as it slowed down, November looked up and then dropped down a little bit in December, but that might be but a huge amount over last year's 800 to 1,200. Again, but this is also what led the end of last year into the low listings. So thank goodness. And I hope this trend continues of increasing listings so we can go back to a normalized market. And this is the active listings by price range. So this is what's, look at this, 25 active listings for $1 million. And then we've got the highest amount in the 3 to 400. 17% of that is in there. So right now, since we've moved up with appreciation so much, the bulk of it's between $250,000 and $500,000. And over here, we're seeing days on market. When we look at the median days on market, when we're seeing 6s, it's because a lot of our houses are listed in the 200K range, and those go quickly. Okay, now this is active listings. Let's go to the median price. So active right now on the market. This is that 280 we talked about, from 219 a year ago, from 215 the year before that. So that it creeped up a little bit last year, but look at this, just huge. And again, just with the lack of houses and the over asking, increase the appreciation, hence the inflation, hence the higher interest rates. So, but that's a median for those that are active on the market as of the end of December. And let's look at, this is for active listings. Median, average, as you can see, is a lot higher, but the median is what we tend to refer to. This is for active listings. Not closed listing. Closed listings are, I think that's 6 or 9 days on the market. So active listings are November, December, 35 to 43. So 43 hasn't really changed from the last couple of years as far as median days on the market for those active listings. Here it just talks about month supply. It just states that right now, December, we have 1.2 months supply, which is great. You don't want to see, this is such, when it's under a month supply, again, just such tight inventory. I like to see it get to higher than this. But really, as you can see, even 2020, things are selling, have been selling well the last many years. And it just shows you the month supply, just look at what has gone down from, gosh, really 2016, down. And only now are the builders trying to change this. I know our permits are increased. The builders are going crazy trying to just increase the housing availability here. A definite trend you see going back to 2016. So we're going to have builders and even the lumber prices going down again, and the supply chain's getting a little bit better. It's making it a little bit easier on builders compared to here's just new listings that came on board in December. So 492 new listings were added during December, and they're saying it's down 20% from a year ago. And year-to-date median price, we talked about this earlier, 185 to 209. History of new listings. New listings by each month. And this kind of just reflects, look at 2022 and really all this. During the peak of the sale of the cycle, selling cycle, over 1,000 during new listings, you want to start in March where the weather gets better, people are ready to get out and look at homes, and then as school kicks back in, goes down a little bit, but again, still typically remains pretty steady. I mean, compared to last year, though, it's down. Compared to last year, it's down. But this just kind of reflects the the typical cycle for real estate. Here's new listings by price range that happened in December. So I like to look at, we have 3 new over $1 million houses. Where's my cursor? With, let's see, 200 to 250 being the highest ones that went on the market in December. Then you got the average and median list price. Let's see over here, 230, and that, these are just charts if you have got time to look at, kind of fun to look at for a minute. New listings, median price. I'm just going to go new listings analysis. And contracts written, the reason we look at that, it's just the activity that happened during that month. So again, we're down. I noticed that big time with interest rates. And contracts written kind of shows the future of the market. Median list price of these homes was 190, up from 175 the prior. And this is on contracts written. Earlier, we talked about what was closed. We talked about new listings that were going in the market, and this is only talking about the contracts that were written in December. So 190 up from 175. So the contracts that were written increased as well. Makes sense. Half of the homes that went under contract in December were on the market less than 15 days compared to 8 days in December 2021. So it took longer. And contracts written for December were 533. This is what was written, offers written at the end. And of course, that went down 692 the year before. Contracts written in price range. Where's let's see, the bulk of this one was in the 250 to 300. 3 contracts happened on the $1 million and over. That's just always fun to look at. And look here over here at the median price is at 1.5 million. And contracts written, the median price was 190. I think we saw that a bit earlier. Contracts written, for the contracts written, the median days on market 15. This is for the contracts that were written only in December. You look at this, so 15. So again, that shows how it slowed down a lot. Slowed down November, and it slowed down even more in December. Again, waiting for the inflation and interest rates to figure out what was going on. And pending contracts. So anyways, I think this gives you just quickly, let's look at that was all the MLS in here, just to quickly look at the Sedgwick County specifically, which of course is the biggest. Try not to make you dizzy, but let's just look at this chart here. Close went from 747 down to 525. As you can see, things stopped, but the listing prices kept increasing. Days on the market definitely increased, and still going at 100% just due to the lack of inventory. And I think so there you have it. A little bit of Kansas information. Talked about the Kansas data was the November details, and then a little bit of the Wichita, Sedgwick County information. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions specific to your situation, give me a holler. Karen Wright, your local Wichita real estate agent, 316-209-8828. Until next video.